Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today what we're going to be looking at is we are going to be sketching parabolas and their transformations. And specifically what we're going to be looking at first is we're going to be looking at sketching parabolas from their intercept form. So I think we should jump in straight away and we should just have a go at some of these questions here because these couple of questions are in intercept form. So by intercept form, what I mean is we're going to find the x-intercepts, we're going to find the y-intercepts, and then we're going to sketch based on that. So for our first question, this is question 2a, we're going to have to draw the sketch y is equal to x minus 5 multiplied by x minus 2. So to find the x-intercepts, this is the point where the function will cross the x-axis or the horizontal axis. We're going to let y equal to 0. Similarly, when we find the y-intercept, we will let x equal to 0. So 0 is equal to x take 5 multiplied by x take 2. And using our null factor law, we know that x will be equal to 5 or x will be equal to 2. So we've got a couple of points here. We've got the point 5, 0 and we've got the point 2, 0. Now let's go ahead and let's find the y-intercept. So again, with the y-intercept, we're going to let x equal to 0. So y will be equal to 0 minus 5, and then y will be equal to multiplied by 0 minus 2. So y is going to be equal to positive 10. And so we have another point here now at 0 and 10. Now just having a look at these values of x here, both of these values of x have a positive coefficient. So in other words, they've got a positive 1 out the front here. And so when I expand these brackets, I'll get a positive value for a. And so I'll have a happy face parabola. So knowing that information, I can now draw my parabola. And again, this is just going to be a rough sketch. This is not going to be a very accurate depiction. And to do this, I'm going to draw my parabola just using those 3 points and that knowledge that it's going to be a happy face. So our first couple of points, our x-intercepts, we're going to have one at 2, 0, and I'll write the coordinate here, and then we're going to have one at 5, 0. Then we'll have our y-intercept at 0, 10, and again, I'm just going to put my label on there for 0, 10. And then I'm going to attempt to just roughly sketch that parabola through there. The last thing we might want to find for this is we might want to find this turning point just to make this sketch a little bit neater. But as you can see, it's really not necessary to do a rough sketch of this parabola. Let's have another go and let's do question 2b. Okay, so again, when we've got in this intercept form, we're going to first find the x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts are when y is equal to 0. So 0 will be equal to x plus 4 times by x minus 7. We're going to use our null factor law so we can find the solution of x, and that will be equal to negative 4 or positive 7. Then let's do the same thing now with the y-intercept. So we're going to let x equal to 0. So y will be equal to 0 plus 4 times by 0 minus 7. And so y is going to be equal to negative 28. Okay, so what we can do now is we can sketch those points. So we've got the point negative 4, 0, 7, 0 for our x-intercepts, and then 0, negative 28 for our y-intercept. So again, I'm just going to draw that. And again, this is just going to be a pretty quick sketch. So we've got one at negative 4, 0, and I'm just making sure that I label this. I've got one at 7, 0. And then I've got 1 point down at 0 and negative 28. And again, this is just going to be a pretty rough sketch. Now looking at my coefficients of x, I can see that this is going to be a happy face parabola because the coefficient there is positive. And again, we could, if we wanted to, find the turning point to sketch this to get like a really accurate looking graph, but I'm just going to leave this as it is. And we'll just make sure we pop the function on there too for this one. Okay, and there we go. That's all we need to do. Let's just do one more example. Let's pick a slightly trickier one though. I think we might pick 2f. Okay, last one. So again, we'll start off with our x-intercepts. So when y is equal to 0. And again, we can use our null factor law to help us to solve this. So because this one's a little bit trickier, we could write this out. So 0 will either be equal to x over 2 plus 3, or 0 will be equal to 5 minus x. So now when I rearrange this equation, we'll get negative 3 is equal to x over 2, and so therefore negative 6 will be equal to x. Let's do the same thing now with our other root, so I'm going to add x to the other side so that x is equal to 5. So we now have our two x-intercepts. Let's go ahead and let's find our y-intercept, and again this will be when x is equal to 0, and so we will have y is equal to 0 divided by 2 plus 3 times by 5 minus 0. So our y-intercept is going to be at 0, 15. And having a look at this one, if I was to expand these x terms out, I can see that the coefficient here is going to be positive 1/2. And having a look at the coefficient in front of this x, I can see this is negative 1. And so when we multiply these two coefficients, I'm going to get a negative result for my a value, which is my dilation factor. And so that means that I'm going to draw this as a sad face. So again, with this one, this is just going to be a pretty quick sketch. It's not going to be the most accurate. So we can pop our points on. We've got one at negative 6. Oops, I should put that inside the bracket, shouldn't I? Negative 6 and 0. We've got one at, what was the other one? At 5 and 0. And again, we'll make sure we put the label on. And then one at 0 and 15. And it's a sad face parabola this time. So we're just going to draw it just like that. Beautiful. Again, pretty rough sketch here. And that's all we need to do to draw parabolas that are already in the intercept form. Very, very simple to do. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. We'll have a look at sketching parabolas in standard form. Talk to you soon.